Today we are continuing our coverage of Tesla, which has been one of the most interesting companies to follow over the past couple years. The company went from an EV pioneer to a lightning rod of controversy thanks to Elon Musk's eccentricities. While its core EV business has slowed, Tesla still has many die-hard fans who still fully believe in the company's moonshot projects. In this video, we will analyze Tesla's recently announced Q3 earnings results and check in on their Robotaxi Network and Optimus humanoid robot. Tesla had a really bad start to 2025. In the first half of the year, they delivered 720,000 vehicles, a decline of 13% compared to the year-ago period. There were multiple reasons for this decline: controversy around Elon Musk's political activities, paltry sales of the Cybertruck, increasing competition, and an aging vehicle lineup. While none of these issues have been completely resolved, Tesla's third-quarter deliveries were better than many had expected. They delivered 497,000 vehicles. That's an increase of 29% versus the prior quarter and 7% versus the year-ago period. So what can explain the increase in deliveries? In July of 2025, President Donald Trump signed his so-called Big Beautiful Bill. The BBB did many things. One of the things that it did was to remove the $7,500 EV tax credit, but this did not take effect until September 30th. Part of Tesla's sales increase in the third quarter is likely due to people wanting to buy their EV before September 30th, so they can still claim the tax credit. In the third quarter, Tesla's market share increased slightly in North America. Their market share continued to decline in China. The Chinese EV market remains extremely competitive. The official data from Europe is a bit slower to be published. However, according to registration data, it does appear that Tesla experienced a significant increase in European sales in the third quarter. Most of the increase came from the Model Y. Tesla started shipments of the new Model Y Juniper in Europe late in the first quarter, but it took until Q3 for sales to really ramp up. The Juniper has a revamped design and slightly better efficiency and range compared to the previous version. In the first half of 2025, Tesla's sales suffered due to protests against Elon Musk's political statements and activities. It seems that these protests have largely died down and are no longer having such a large impact on sales. In October, Tesla unveiled cheaper versions of its Model 3 and Y. The new Model 3 will have a starting price of $37,000, while the Model Y will have a starting price of $40,000. For both cars, that's a decrease of about $5,000 from their previous starting prices. This price decrease partially offsets the loss of the EV tax credit. Tesla is also reacting to increasingly fierce competition in the US EV market. Over the past couple years, many automakers have cut the prices of their EVs. For example, the Chevy Equinox EV is a compact SUV that is a direct competitor to the Model Y. It starts at just $34,000. The Hyundai Kona Electric is a direct competitor to the Model 3. It also starts at $34,000. The recently announced price cuts are likely necessary in light of the abolition of the federal EV tax credit, but it will result in a hit to Tesla's profit margins. In the third quarter, Tesla's average selling price per vehicle was $42,700 globally. The vast majority of their sales are Models 3 and Y. The gross cost to produce each car was $35,400. That gives a gross profit margin of $7,300 per car. If you subtract the $5,000 from the price reduction, that brings the margin down to $2,300. And it gets even worse. In addition to abolishing the EV tax credit, Trump's Big Beautiful Bill also gets rid of EV mandates for automakers. Historically, Tesla has made billions of dollars per year by selling EV production credits to the legacy automakers. This lucrative revenue stream will be phased out over the next year or so. In the third quarter, Tesla made $417 million from regulatory credits. That translates to about $800 per car. If this goes away, the gross profit per car falls to $1,500, a razor-thin margin. Overall, Tesla's quarter was mixed. Deliveries were stronger than expected. The brand is recovering from the implosion it suffered in the first half of the year. As of the time of recording this video, Tesla's stock is near its all-time high. It has a market cap of $1.36 trillion. The market cap is 14 times the revenue the company generated over the past 12 months. The price-to-earnings ratio is at a sky-high 290 times. Even if Tesla's revenue grows a little over the next year, profits are likely to decline given the recently announced price cuts and the phase-out of EV regulatory credits. On the surface, the stock appears to be extremely overvalued. Of course, Tesla investors are looking to the future. For years, Musk has talked about the autonomous Robotaxi Network as the main driver of Tesla's valuation. More recently, he's been talking about the Optimus humanoid robot, saying that it will eventually represent 80% of Tesla's value. So let's check in on these two projects. Tesla has been operating a limited robotaxi service in Austin, Texas since June 22, 2025. To date, all of Tesla's robotaxi rides have had a human safety driver present in the passenger seat. Of course, the biggest concern with autonomous robotaxis is safety, and we're just now starting to get some data. According to Forbes, there were 3 crashes involving Tesla robotaxis in the month of July. In their Q2 earnings call hosted on July 23, 2025, Tesla claimed that they operated 7,000 robotaxi miles in Austin to date. There were 3 crashes in July. It's not a perfect comparison because there is still 1 week remaining in July when Tesla made that statement, but it's a good enough approximation. Tesla robotaxis were involved in 3 crashes after driving approximately 7,000 miles. That's a crash rate of approximately 1 every 2,300 miles. So how does this compare to the competition? The other major robotaxi operator in the US is Google-owned Waymo. A peer-reviewed article published in the journal Traffic Injury Prevention in October of 2024 analyzed crash rate data for Waymo cars. It found that Waymos experienced 2.1 police-reported crashes per million miles driven. That's 1 crash every 476,000 miles. Waymos get into significantly fewer crashes than regular human drivers. A human driver gets into 4.68 police-reported crashes every 1 million miles. That's 1 crash every 214,000 miles. Of the 3 Tesla robotaxi crashes reported in Austin in July, only 2 of them were reported to police. The other one appears to have been a very mild fender bender. To be comparable to the Waymo data, we can only include these 2. That's 1 police-reported crash for every 3,500 miles. Tesla's robotaxi crash rate is more than 100 times higher than Waymo's. Not only is the Tesla robotaxi much worse than Waymo, it's also much worse than unassisted human drivers. Tesla's crash rate is 60 times higher than the human benchmark. I understand that this is an extremely small sample size, but given how new the Tesla robotaxi service is and how little data Tesla publishes, this is the best we can do at the moment. In fact, the real comparison is even worse for Tesla. All Tesla robotaxis have a human safety driver sitting in the passenger seat. They constantly monitor the road and are ready to step in at any time. This reduces the crash rate. The crash rate would likely be higher if the safety drivers were not present. Waymos have no human safety drivers, yet Waymo still manages to be over 100 times safer than Tesla robotaxis, at least based on the limited data we have available at the moment. The reason why Waymo performs so much better is because it is fitted with numerous radar and LiDAR sensors, which help it to sense surrounding objects. The downside is that these sensors cost a lot of money. According to some reports, each Waymo car costs as much as $250,000 to build. Musk has long criticized LiDAR, saying it is too expensive to be economically viable at large scale. Teslas only use cameras, which are much cheaper. Musk has long claimed that Tesla's self-driving software is so good that it can be extremely safe even with just cameras. Musk may be right to question Waymo's scalability and economic viability, but the idea that Tesla's robotaxis can be just as safe using only cameras has not been borne out by the data so far. Tesla publishes very little safety data about its autonomous driving features. Pretty much the only data they publish is their autopilot safety report. As we've discussed many times in previous videos, this data compares apples to oranges and is basically meaningless. Recently, I came across some real crash rate data which paints a damning picture of Tesla. In 2021, the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration, or NHTSA, created a policy whereby all automobile manufacturers which offer Level 2 Advanced Driver Assistance, or ADAS, must report all crashes of their vehicles when the ADAS is activated. Level 2 ADAS means the car can perform dynamic driving tasks such as steering, adaptive cruise control, and automatic lane changing. But a human driver must remain engaged and responsible at all times. Tesla's autopilot and full self-driving are both considered to be Level 2 ADAS. Many other automakers also have Level 2 ADAS. For example, Cadillac has Super Cruise, Nissan has Pro Pilot Assist, Mercedes has Drive Pilot. Most major automakers have some form of Level 2 ADAS, although it's generally not available on all models and is often a paid add-on. According to the NHTSA data, from July 2021 through August 2025, there were 4,337 crashes in the United States with Level 2 ADAS engaged. This only includes serious crashes, which resulted in either an airbag deployment, a vehicle needing to be towed away, serious injury, fatality, or some combination thereof. These crashes were reported from 29 automobile brands and self-driving car startups, including Tesla, General Motors, BMW, Mercedes, Nissan, Toyota, Ford, Hyundai, and many others. Pretty much every automobile brand you can think of was included in the dataset, because almost all automakers offer Level 2 ADAS on at least some of their models. Of the 4,337 crashes, 3,454, or almost 80%, were from Teslas. Honda was number 2 with less than 4%. Of the 4,337 total crashes, 124 of them resulted in at least one fatality. Tesla cars represented 98 fatalities, or 79%. Ford was number 2 with 11 fatalities. It's hard to make sense of this data because neither Tesla nor any other major automaker regularly discloses the number of miles driven with Level 2 ADAS engaged. According to Consumer Reports, as of 2021, approximately half of new cars sold in the US had Level 2 ADAS capabilities, but many consumers don't know how they work and never use them. Teslas probably represent less than 5% of all cars on the road with Level 2 ADAS, yet they account for 80% of the crashes. With that being said, Tesla drivers are much more likely to use their ADAS, so they certainly account for more than 5% of miles driven. But is it 80%? The fact that Tesla drivers use ADAS so often is part of the problem. For years, Elon Musk has made claims that autopilot and full self-driving are much safer than unassisted driving. At various times, he said FSD is 10, 20, and even 30 times safer than unassisted driving. These are numbers he made up with zero substantiation. Musk's unsubstantiated safety claims give many Tesla drivers a false sense of security, causing them to pay less attention to the road while autopilot is engaged. Just this past August, Tesla was forced to pay a $243 million judgment related to a fatal crash in a Tesla with autopilot engaged. The court ruled that Tesla misled the driver about the safety of autopilot. If you look at the raw NHTSA data, you'll notice something interesting. Let's look at the first crash on the list. In August of 2025, a 2021 Infiniti QX50 crashed while it had ProPilot Assist engaged. ProPilot Assist is the name of Infiniti's Level 2 ADAS system, so we know specifically what ADAS system was being used. Most automakers disclose which ADAS feature was engaged, but they're not required to. If they want to, they can ask the NHTSA to redact this data in the publicly available reports. Tesla is one of the few automakers that redacts this information. So why do they do this? Tesla has two Level 2 ADAS systems, Autopilot, which can only be used on highways, and FSD, which can also be used on city streets. In its quarterly investor presentations, Tesla includes charts which show the cumulative number of miles driven by all Tesla cars using FSD. They do this to brag about how much data they're collecting and how they use this to train their AI models. Tesla does not make any disclosures about how many miles have been driven with Autopilot. If Tesla disclosed which ADAS feature was engaged in each crash, which is what most other automakers already do, we could easily calculate the crash rate for FSD. Tesla made a proactive decision to break with industry norms and redact this data. This allows Elon Musk to tell the public that FSD is 10, 20, and 30 times safer than unassisted driving. These are all numbers that Musk has said at various times. It's obviously BS, but we cannot definitively disprove him because Tesla hides the data. Now let's move on to the next moonshot project, the Optimus humanoid robot. Tesla claims that it's already using Optimus robots to perform tasks in its own factories. They intend to eventually sell the Optimus to external customers, but Tesla has given almost no details of how many Optimus robots are in its factories and what they're actually doing. In the Q3 earnings call, Musk continued to make grandiose statements about the economic potential of Optimus. Quote, "Optimus at scale is the infinite money glitch. It's like it's difficult to express the magnitude of, like if you've got something like that, like if Optimus, I think, probably achieved 5x the productivity of a person per year because it can operate 24/7, it doesn't even need to charge. It can operate tethered, so it's plugged in the whole time. So that's why I call it like if you're true of sustainable abundance, where working will be optional," unquote. Predictions about the future are one thing, but what is Optimus actually doing today? Musk tells us this as well, quote, actually technically, Optimus can walk in the park right now. And we do have Optimus robots that walk around our offices at our engineering headquarters in Palo Alto, California, basically 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So any visitors that come by, you can stop one of the Optimus robots and ask it to take you somewhere, and it will literally take you to that meeting room or that location in the building," unquote. Taking you to a meeting room isn't exactly a world-changing capability, but it's questionable if Optimus can even do this. In September of 2025, Salesforce CEO Mark Benioff visited Tesla's HQ, where he filmed a video interacting with an Optimus.
"Hey Optimus, what are you doing there?"
"Just chilling, ready to help."
"Hey Optimus, do you know where I can get a Coke?"
"Sorry, I don't have real-time info, but I can take you to the kitchen if you want to check for a Coke there."
Oh yeah,
Let
that'd
me
be
know when we
great.
should go.
Yes, let's do that. Let's go.
Awesome. Let's head to the kitchen.
Okay.
Okay, go.
I think we need to give it a bit more room. Right now it's kind of paranoid about space.
Benioff made probably the simplest request imaginable, just asking it to take him to the kitchen. It appears that Benioff was standing somewhat close to the Optimus, but it doesn't even look like he was that close. The Optimus seems to have problems judging how far away things are, so it froze, not wanting to run into Benioff. It didn't have the intelligence to ask Benioff to move or find an alternate route. The Optimus robots in Tesla's headquarters building serve no useful purpose. If you want to know where the kitchen is or where a meeting room is, you can just ask the receptionist, or they could print out a map and hang it on the wall. The only reason Tesla put the Optimus in their headquarters is to serve as a publicity stunt. Musk said it himself. Any visitor that comes by can ask the robots to show them around. That's why Musk invited Mark Benioff to come to Tesla HQ, so he could take a video and post it on social media. The Optimus had one job, to make a good social media stunt. It failed to even do that. Alright guys, that wraps it up for this video. What do you think about Tesla? Let us know in the comments section below. As always, thank you so much for watching and we'll see you in the next one. Wall Street Millennial, signing out.